Hello, Squad Chief here, and today we're talking about the top 10 saltiest cards to go up against in Modern. I pulled on Reddit and Twitter. I wanted to hear what you guys had to say. You guys blew me away. There were 700 comments on Reddit. Like, I was expecting 20, so it made making the list a lot easier. And I wanted to premise with these cards are not based on the power level, but more so how much salt is created from these cards and going up against them. So that's why I wanted to base this off of. But this is all my opinion, but also rating off of what you guys said and told me was your saltiest card to go up against. So let's get into it. At number 10, Allosaurus Rider. The reason why is because no one likes losing turn 1 to a combo. It feels awful to just sit there as your opponent just looks through two decks, one over here, one over there, one of the useful cards, dead cards, and they go through like 30 cards, and it's not fun. It's not fun to just sit here and wait for them to combo off, and maybe they kill you, maybe they don't. And I think that's why it's my number 10, is because it's not always that joy you feel when you win because they whiff. Oh, perfect. It's the best feeling when you're like, why are you playing that deck? Like, you're just going to lose to yourself. So I think that's why this is my number 10, because it'll make you salty, but it also give you the greatest joy when they fizzle. Okay, number 9, Uro. So this is way higher than what I'm guessing everyone else would have put it. But the reason why I put it so high is because it is more annoying than anything else to go up against. It's not that it creates a salt factor. The salt factor that comes, I believe, with Uro are related to other cards I have on this list. And so that's why I ranked it so high, is because if it was by itself, you wouldn't get so salty. But it's the other cards around it where you're just like, I hate Magic. I hate this game. So that's why I have Uro at my number 9. Number 8, Mystic Sanctuary and Cryptic Command. I wanted to just put Mystic, but I wanted to explain why and why people were so frustrated. People weren't frustrated because of the consistency of it. People were frustrated because of this combo exactly. That you can get locked out with an Uro in play or any draw, such as Jace each turn, brainstorming, where you go Cryptic, bounce my Sanctuary, tap the opposing team. What happens next turn? Mystic, put Cryptic back on top, and repeat that loop. And your opponent just can't attack you anymore because you have a brainstorm or Uro going, and you just win the game by locking your opponent out. People really hate this loop, and I understand why. It's super frustrating to go up against. And so that's why I put them both together so you can understand the frustration of it. And also Cryptic Command, why would they make one of the most complicated cards in Magic textless? That's why I picked this one, because I want to show you that it was textless. That even though there are 4 modes on it, Wizards like, you know what? They'll figure it out. Here you go. I mean, it's beautiful. It was the one I wanted to buy, so I did. So I guess marketing works. Number 7, Force Negation. Who does not like going up against this card? Very few decks. Imagine this. You're playing Death and Taxes. You're on the play. You got that opening Aether Vial. You feel pretty good. You know, you don't have anything to worry about. So you play it out, and they say in response, you go, in response, this ain't Legacy. And they go Force Negation. How frustrating is that? That Modern now has their free counterspell. It's so frustrating to have your entire strategy negated for free. And so, yeah, I hate this card. A lot of people hate this card, but I think it is a necessity to Modern. But boy, does it suck getting your freaking Aether Vial forced. You have no other target. Number 6, Plague Engineer. The reason why it's not high on the list is because it only affects those tribal decks the most, which is not all of us, but for those people who play goblins, who play merfolk, who play elves, they hate this card more than anything. There's nothing worse than you playing out all your little dorks and then they go and play Engineer, and it's a 3-mana 2/2 that kills 4 elves. It sucks. I literally just want to facepalm. Like, as soon as it hits the table, I'm like, why am I playing tribal decks? Anytime I play a tribal deck, I'm reminded as to why I want to stay away from it, and that is Plague Engineer. Which brings us to a number 5, Field of Dead. It doesn't matter what control strategy you are, what mid-range strategy you are, this land runs you over. It is so annoying that no matter what deck you play, one land will just completely obliterate your strategy and it will just go completely over you. It is insane how much Field of the Dead brings to the table, and it sucks. It really sucks when you're playing against Uro and they're attacking you and they get to put in a fetch land and then they get a zombie, they get a 2/2, and then they just get a fetch and have another zombie. I hate going up against Field of the Dead more than I hate going up against Uro, because no matter what strategy I am, Field of the Dead just freaking attacks it. It's ridiculous. And the fact that you can get Field of the Dead as early as turn 3 in some decks, and turn 4 more often than not, that you get these activations, it's so hard to deal with. And it sucks so much to have to play your blue-white control deck and hope you draw your Field of Rune, because you know you're not going to beat Field of the Dead triggers every single turn. And everyone can relate to this. It's not like Plague Engineer where you have to worry about those tribal decks hating it. Every single deck knows how bad it is to go up against Field of the Dead, and you just have to deal with a bunch of 2/2s that are just randomly on the board as an addition to the strategy of them casting a Titan or playing Uro, and you have to deal with that, but then on the back of it you have these 2/2s popping out. It sucks to go up against Field of the Dead. And for our number 4, Blood Moon. Who hasn't been Blood Mooned? You get to play your 4-color decks, 3-color decks, 2-color decks. No. You get to play mountains. That's what this card reads, is you're going to play mountains. You don't get to have fun. Even if you're playing a 2-color deck, I've been playing blue-white, and I will get completely hosed by a Blood Moon, where all of a sudden I go from blue-white to Jeskai. And it's not even like Jeskai that can cast Cryptic. It's Jeskai with 1 blue source, 1 white source, and 6 red sources. It is the absolute worst going up against a Blood Moon, and your whole strategy, your whole fun is completely thrown out the window because of this stupid 3-mana enchantment where it says, you know what? We are all going to be burn players today. And let's go to our number 3, Tron. You can pick your poison. The mine, the power plant, or the tower. Who has not hated Magic more than when you had turn 3 Karn slammed in your face or turn 3 Wormcoil? And the worst part of it is they just go down to 3 and you think, oh yeah, I got this. They went down to 3. Who loses to someone that mulls down to 3? And they're like, you know what? Mine, power plant, rip off the top, bam, Karn, you lose. It's just like, I don't want to play Magic. That's literally so many times has this happened to me. One time, okay, the miracle happened against me. I was waiting for this day to come. I was playing Elves. I still remember it. They go mull down to 1. I was like, okay, I got this. Turn 1, mine. Turn 2, power plant. Turn 3, tower, Wormcoil. Luckily, I killed him that turn with 2 Shaman in the pack, but still, like, how was that? How was that? Like, if I didn't, I would have been livid. I would still be talking to this day, which I am, but luckily I won, so I can say it in a positive light. But if I didn't, I would be so livid that I lost to a Tron mulling to 1. But I was so fascinated that someone pulled it off. They pulled off the miracle where you go to 1 and you Tron and cast Karn. They almost got there. They cast Wormcoil and it blew me away. But yeah, everybody hates Tron. I honestly think Tron players hate Tron. That I don't have any reason why like they wouldn't, you know? But like, let's be real. Who doesn't like cast big baddies, you know? Okay, and that brings us to our number 2. Veil of Summer. Who who thought that, you know, Cryptic was already down there? Who thought 1 mana for Cryptic would be more balanced, you know? Let me it out for you. You come down, you sit down at F&M, you got your fun Jund deck, you're ready to have a good time. You go up against some stupid deck like Infect or Bant. Okay, you lose game 1, it happens. Then game 2 comes around, you're able to pull it back. Game 3, they just go fetch land pass. Okay, no biggie. What do? What does every Jund player do? Turn 1, Black Cleave Cliffs. Tap, Thoughtseize. Easy. They fetch, like, okay, you know, maybe Spell Pierce. No. Veil of Summer, counter your freaking Thoughtseize, draw a card, and you're just... I feel like you lose the game right there. It is so mad. Like, not even by a advantage standpoint, but just morally, you just think of Wizards and how much you dislike them at this point. Why? Who thought that this would be okay? Counter draw for 1 mana. It doesn't make any sense. And it gives your permanent hexproof as well. So it's not just for countering a spell. It's unreal how much Veil Summer does. And like I get so mad. I literally want to quit games. This is how bad I am. I want to quit games when I go turn 1 Thoughtseize, they go Veil Summer. I'm like, I'm out. I can't do it. I'm so far behind mentally, and I'm so far behind on resources on turn 1. I feel like the majority of times that I have done that to someone, I have probably won it an astronomical amount. I probably have like an 80% win rate when I turn 1 Veil Summer their Thoughtseize. I wish I was exaggerating. I probably am, but I'm really confident I'm not. And finally, the card that we all hate the most, that was written hundreds of times, and yes, I mean hundreds of times, Teferi Time Raveler. And I know why everybody hates this card. Because we are here to play Magic. We are not here to play Hearthstone. So honestly, I wouldn't mind if Wizards just deleted this card. I think they just throw this one out. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to change the basis of the game? It is so frustrating that your deck could just shut off because you didn't happen to have the counter for Teferi. It's not fair that they're a combo deck and you don't get to interact because they have Teferi. Or why does it get to bounce and draw a card? It's ridiculous. The tempo of it is insane, on top of the security that you get knowing that nothing is going to get countered, that you get to see how they are going to interact with you, that they don't get to cast spells on your turn at all, and your creatures are going to be safe, or you get to combo safely. This is the one card I agree that everybody hates. Everybody has it on their list because every single deck is affected by this card. So I think this is by far the number 1 on this list because this was the only card that was listed hundreds of times in one day when I asked what was your guys' pick for these saltiest. Well, thank you so much. Hit subscribe. Hope to see you around. Have a good day.